Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Sorry, I was just admiring the view. My name's Jonathan. Some people call me Jono or John because apparently Jonathan's a bit hard to say, but this is our homestead, Hickey's Ridge Homestead, on the beautiful mid-north coast of New South Wales. And we live in what we think is paradise. It's a pretty amazing place. We is my wife, my 3 boys who live here with me, and we wanted to show a little bit of what we do around here. We've been on a journey the last couple of years, trying to learn how to be self-sufficient, to grow some of our own food and get back to a more closer to our food way of living. And the way that we've done that is through, well, moving to a bit of property, which we're really blessed to live on. We got out of the city because we're really just a couple of converted city kids. And thank God that he got us out of there, because every time I go back, I realise why we left. It's a much better lifestyle for our kids. They get to run around and have freedom. I can't really see any of my neighbours, which I love. And even though at the moment the cicadas are really loud, the peace and quiet and clearness of the air living out of town is just a different way of living. And if you want to try it, I'd suggest it. But it is a big learning curve, and that's something that we've had to go through, and we are still going through, is learning many different things, from how to look after tank water, pumps, and how to look after big lawnmowers because they keep breaking and there's a lot of lawn to mow, and to managing all the animals that we decided to acquire because we thought, oh, we got lots of space, we can have some sheep, we can have a cow, we could have chickens, we can have ducks, let's have all the animals, which I love all the animals, but it's a lot of work. It's something that we have had to learn over the last couple of years, and it's not easy all the time, trying to grow veggies and fruit and things dying on you. But we think it's an exciting journey, and we think that this is something that we would have liked to see, is people going on that journey and making mistakes and learning from them and just figuring out things on the way. So we're really excited to take you with us. I want to show you a few things around the property, show you the animals, show you a few of our amazing views, and just talk a bit about how we're working towards growing a lot of our own food so that we can sustain ourselves, and so that we can have a higher quality, higher standard of food, so that we know where it comes from, we know exactly what's gone into it, and yeah, hopefully we can have a bit of fun along the way. I thought I would show you some of how we do our rotational grazing. So we have cows and we have sheep, and sometimes we graze our chickens as well, depending on what we're doing. If we've got some roosters, we might put them out there. We move our animals every day. The reason for that is that it focuses all of their nitrogen, their poo, their wee, all the fun stuff in an area for a day. It puts heaps and heaps of that on the ground, and then they move on. And in our system, they don't come back to it for 45 to 60 days, somewhere around there. Depends on how quickly the grass is growing, how long they can stay in each space. It does mean that they, especially between the cows and the sheep, they eat the grass down really low. And then when they come back through, hopefully it's grown up. So what you can see behind me is where they've been. They've just been through here as well. You can see it's been eaten down pretty low. Sheep are a little cranky at the moment because they're running behind the cows, and the cows aren't leaving a whole lot for them, but we're supplementing with some hay as well and just making sure they have plenty of food. The way we do it is we have these temporary movable fences. Hello, sheepies. And basically we just pull them up and move one forward and push all the animals through in each section. Got the 3 cows, Annabelle and her calf down the bottom, Buttercup there, and we split them up at night, the calf and Annabelle, and we got Buttercup sort of in her own section at the moment. Just she's Annabelle's first calf, but we don't want her stealing the milk from the calf, and we split up the calf because we want milk for ourselves as well. So split them up overnight, milk in the morning, and I'll try and show you some of this process of moving fences. Alright, so we got our cows, sheep, and, well, calf and lamb moved into their new section. Got Annabelle here in the front. First section, plenty of grass to come, as you can see. It's below one of our dams. So that's why there's lots of grass there. We've got Buttercup, Annabelle's first, and Dolly up the back there. In section number 2, split up, ready for the night. At the moment, I'm just filling up water buckets. Cows do go through a lot of water, so we need to check that a fair bit. But at the moment, it's working for us, so we'll come up with a more efficient system. And then in our last section, we've got the sheep. So we've got 5 sheep at the moment, 1 ram, 3 ewes, and 1 little lamb, ewe lamb. Hello, baby. How you doing? We're meant to shear you soon, aren't we? So why do we choose to rotational graze? I'll tell you a bit about it while I go get some hay. There's a few reasons. First of all, is infrastructure. So if we wanted to fence this whole place, especially in a way where we could spread out, have different paddocks and whatever, you're looking at thousands and thousands of dollars just to cover the area that we need to be able to keep these animals in and to keep them safe. Especially in this area, we've got a lot of wild dogs, so yeah, it's pretty important. Dogs are pretty keen on lamb. So the electric fences that we've got, the temporary electric fences, make it really simple to do that. Second reason for it, like I was talking about before, is fertility. So you can see here, this is the good stuff. There haven't been any animals grazing here before, and to be honest, the grass is pretty crap. So we want to build up fertility and grass density in the soil really quickly, and the best way to do that is to focus all the fertilizing energy, which in our case is the cows and the sheep, and what they put into the ground, because our goal is not to put anything extra into the ground. So to focus that all in little sections, so you get a really dense amount of fertilization in each area, and then you move them on. The third main reason, and again to do with the animals' well-being, is that by moving the animals on quickly, it breaks up the worm life cycle, the parasite cycle. So worms typically take about 3 days for the larva to come out, and if the animals are eating in a field where they pooed and the flies or the worms are in their poo, they're much more likely to be susceptible to picking those parasites up and having issues. So by moving them at least within every 3 days, you should have much lower worm load. I haven't got to the point of testing yet, but we haven't had issues with our sheep and our cows yet, and our plan is not to do any of the traditional drenching, worming methods unless it's absolutely necessary. We are using other tools like diatomaceous earth, apple cider vinegar, garlic, comfrey to try and manage that load. But the main thing is by keeping the animals off the area they've been in for at least 30 days and preferably up to 60. It can reduce the amount of worms in the soil and parasites in their poo, and then reduce the need for use of chemicals and whatever on the animals, which are really harsh and don't do good things for the soil either, because we actually need the worm life and the parasites to improve our soil life. So that's reason number 3 for rotational grazing, and there's lots more reasons, but for us it's something that works. We were able to buy fences, like our first electric movable fence, for about $500 with the Energizer, and get started with our 5 sheep, and we were running them in that for about 7 or 8 months before we got the cows. And I had to pick up a couple more fences, but altogether our system cost less than about $1,500 $1,500 Australian to set up, and we're able to run our cows and sheep, and through summer we have no issues with the amount of grass. It's good, but through winter hopefully we can build up some of the soil, and we're actually looking at growing some more grasses, actually sowing some more seed, and see if we can build up the density of the grass so that we can feed, especially the cows require a lot of food through winter, and we don't want to have to be buying a lot of hay in for them. So that's our rotational grazing setup. I'm going to grab some hay, take it down to the sheep, and I'll chat to you soon. So I'll try and show you a bit closer view of our setup. I haven't hooked up the electric fence part, but I built this movable sheep shelter, which is in need of a bit of repair. I'm not an amazing builder, but I'm improving over time. But I need bigger wheels on it. But it does the job for now, just to keep them a bit dry in bad weather and to give them some shade in the heat of summer. Here's some hay, sheepies. So the cows, basically, they prefer the long grass. They will eat the long grass down. I find if we put the sheep in an area like this, they'll tend to eat a lot of the smaller grasses, shorter grasses. They don't like it. Basically, if it's touching their nose, they don't like it as much. So the cows like the longer grass because they can't actually eat all the way down to the ground. Sheep like the shorter grasses and a lot of the weeds, especially these Dorper sheep will eat a lot of the weeds. And so they do eat different things, which is also a benefit. It's good for weed control because it breaks up the cycle. They eat different weeds. The other thing with the parasites that I didn't mention is that sheep and cows are affected by different worms, different parasites. So the sheep are fine eating. They won't be affected by the cow's parasites, and the cows won't be affected by the sheep's parasites, meaning running them sort of together works pretty well. So I'm going to move this shelter and I'll get back to you. The fence is all hooked up now. Got our little Energizer set up here. Solar panel on a battery to keep it running. And yeah, hopefully it should keep our animals secure until we move them again tomorrow to the next spot. Actually, I forgot to put that water in here. Let's turn off the fence first. So yeah, our space that we're grazing is probably somewhere 5 to 7 acres of grass, but again, not greatly dense grass, and there's a lot of sections under these gum trees where grass doesn't grow so well because the leaves tend to kill everything. But we're working on it, and hopefully we'll see a lot of improvements over time. How you doing, Denny? You good? Good morning. I'm going to take you down with me to milk Annabelle, show you my process of that, and see how much milk we get this morning. It's bright and early. Normally we get about 3 to 4 litres from her per day, which isn't heaps for a cow. Well, for a dairy cow, but she's a crossbreed, so she's half Jersey, half, we think, just a red poll beef breed. Means she doesn't produce heaps of milk, but for us as the beginners, it's not a bad amount to start with because we had a cow that was producing, 15, 20 litres of milk a day, I don't know what we'd be doing. So maybe we'd get another calf. That's another story. So for now, I'll take you with me. My milk bucket, a grain bucket. I'm gonna fill up the grains and we shall go and milk out of it. So we also, with her morning grain, give her some yellow sulfur, which is supposed to help with flies and ticks. As a sort of natural way of doing that. With her grain, bucket here. Go down and find Annabelle. She'll let us know. Good morning. Yeah, I know. I'm coming. Morning, sheepies. So pretty blessed that I've been able to train her to just milk at the field at the moment. We don't have to put her in a stanchion and head down. And considering she was a couple of years old, and I'd already had a calf when we got her, and had never been milked. Pretty lucky. Hey, ready for your milk? Grains? Good job. You know the deal. Let's see if we can get over this fence. She actually gave us quite a lot today. I reckon 4 to 5 litres, something like that. Quite heavy. So you can see there's a couple little hairs and stuff in the bucket, so we'll have to filter that out. Sun coming up. Yeah, I know. You want to see Dolly? Yeah, she's going to come. You know what's next, don't you? So I'm just going to stick this milk fence here. Come back to that. Let's try that tip. So next step is let Dolly, her calf, through. Come on. I know. So that getting zapped. Here we come. This way. Good girl. Straight to mummy. I'm sorry, Buttercup, not anymore. Just going around, okay? Yeah. So now we take our milk. Taking in some of the sunrise. Nice this early. And we'll go and filter that and put it in the fridge straight away. I think because she doesn't produce a lot of milk, the milking process is quite quick, thankfully, which is also why she just stands and lets us do it. So yeah, it usually takes about 5 minutes for the actual milking part. Oh. You can tell we live on quite a steep hill. The animals happen to be down near the bottom of it at the moment, so bit of a trek up. But I'll get this set up to filter the milk, and then I'll check back in with you. All right, so I'm all set up to start filtering this milk and putting it into jars. Basically, just use funnel and some cheesecloth, so muslin, to filter it. And I fold that over a couple of times. Set it on the jar there. All goes on. And then see how much milk we've got. So you definitely want to filter and try and get the milk into the jars and into the fridge as soon as possible. If you have the milk out too long, you can get a bit of a gross taste about it. Very cowy taste, and nobody wants that. But using this method, the almond milk just seems to taste really fresh, doesn't have a smell about it, lasts for quite a while in the fridge, as long as it actually lasts, I guess, until we use it. But with all the extra milk as well, we're having to start to learn how to make cheese, and Elise makes amazing yogurt, which is always good. Milk, and we skim off cream, which is always delicious, and we're working on making sour cream. But it's a bit funny with all the dairy products, they have these cultures, basically bacteria like you have in yogurt, to do the work for you. But it's just interesting trying to get the right culture into your milk for the product you want to create, whether that's cream cheese or sour cream or yogurt. I'll get through 3 of these jars. Let's see. I think these are 1.2 litre from memory. Too much. Oh, perfect. And last little bit here. Okay. So you can see a few little bits of hair, a bit of grass, and a bit of dirt in there. That's what the cheesecloth is for. So make sure none of that goes into the milk. Take that and wash. And I got the fridge. So there you go. A few days worth of milk in there. With all of this stuff, we're really beginners. We've only been doing this for a couple of years. There are experts out there in rotational grazing. If you want to learn something about that kind of stuff, if you want to find out more in-depth stuff, look at Joel Salatin. There's a bunch of information out on YouTube. If you search rotational grazing, you will be able to find information. So go check it out, and hopefully you've enjoyed this. I'll keep posting what we're trying to learn, and see you soon.